Good morning, everyone. This morning's topic is living your prophetic call. And it's an interesting topic. We can throw out that word, right? Oh, they're a prophet in their own time, and prophets aren't accepted in their native place. Prophecy is being someone who speaks a word of spirit that's true, that is not known, whether it be on a very personal, one-on-one basis, whether it be on a larger collective of prophesying something that is to come. Prophecies can sometimes point to the future, but even more so, it points to the reality that's taking place in the present moment that may be missed on some level. And each one of us is called to be a prophet. So even though we may look to prophets of past ages and admire their courage, because most of them, even the scriptures say most of them are killed and put down and ostracized and exiled. And that is true some of the time, right? But not all of the time. Sometimes we're a prophet that speaks a word that is so deeply insightful that it touches a need for compassion a person may have. Prophecy is not just about saying something that goes against the norm and evokes resistance. It may speak a word that penetrates into a deeper reality. And we are each called. I think part of our human nature, and you can disagree with me, is that as human beings wired for God, wired for the divine, we are, by our very makeup, intended to be full of spirit and to prophesy, to speak words that are truly speaking to the real heart of a person or a situation or a time. And I'd like to draw upon 3 events that are attributed to the life of Jesus as a setup for stepping into your own prophetic call. In one of the devotionals, we looked at the passage where Jesus was baptized by John, and John said that he wasn't worthy to untie Jesus's sandal. And Jesus heard from the heavens, metaphor or true, doesn't matter to me which you believe in, that he was beloved. And it so moved him that it set him up in the second scenario to go out into the desert so he could commune with this eternal being that proclaimed him beloved. So he experienced the call not to go out into the desert, but to know who and what he was, beloved of God. That call impelled him into the solitude, into the spaciousness, the emptiness, wherein he could commune more directly and simply with that touched him with those words. And then from there, the third is he steps into his role as teacher, as healer, and as prophet. And we have in the Gospel of Luke this very powerful passage. I'm going to read it. He goes into the temple, and because of his background, and of course being a man, he was allowed to stand up and read the scripture for that day. And this is the scripture from Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. The Lord has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's grace. So he has stepped into his very first action in his ministry was to step forward as a prophet and to say, when he rolled it up, that that prophecy is fulfilled. That's a personal call to us to be so open, connected to, rooted in our divine nature, that we are prophets and that we are also the fulfillment of the prophecies that came before us. It's part of the amazing interconnectedness that we have with all civilizations, right? Because we are part of the civilizations that passed, and we are leading into the civilizations to come. We are hopefully becoming the embodiment of heaven on earth. And if it's true that we live in a scale expanding cosmos, then our stepping into our fullness will always be on the edge of that cosmos. And being on the edge of that cosmos means that we are on the propelling force, the crest, into new life. This series is about stepping into our own new life, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please?
Siri just said, sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Siri was not open to the prophecy. So for this morning's devotional, I want to open with a chant from the Feast of Corpus Christi that's all about the body and blood of Christ. Because you are, and I am, the body and blood of Christ. And we're in the historical moment, aren't we? And in this historical moment, we're the meeting place of all the realms. We are the heaven and earth come to be right here in our very being. And then I'm going to slowly read that prophecy of Isaiah. And I would like you, if you will, to let yourself feel into you speaking those words. That when I say the Spirit of the Lord is on me, that you allow those words to move in you and through you. So that you're not hearing them as though Isaiah said them, or maybe Jesus said them, or somebody else said them, but that you yourself are uttering them from the place of eternal consciousness. You are meant, you are already in many ways, but you are meant to be the fullness of a prophet in such a way that you proclaim good news to the poor, and each one of us is poor. That you give freedom to prisoners, that you are an instrument of recovery of sight for the blind, whether it be the blind physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, that you set the oppressed free, that you proclaim that here and now, this very moment, is the moment of grace. So let this little devotional be a bit of a calibration and an activation. I invite you to close your eyes. And let's recognize and connect to a very deep, deep place where the whisper of God happens, where you are alone with your highest self, a place that is both liberating and terrifying at the same time. But in this moment, we connect together. And in that way, commingle. We commingle. Oh, quam suavis es Nomine Spiritus Tuus, qui dulcedinem tuam in video demonstrare pane sua visimo de cielo prestito exorientes reples bonis fastidioso dimittens dimittens Immanuel. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me. The Lord has sent me to proclaim good news to the poor. The Lord has sent me to give freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind. The Lord has commissioned me to set the oppressed free and to proclaim that this year, this moment, this breath is grace. As we sit together as prophets, let us release the power and the grace that is stirred within us. Let us in silence release the fulfillment of prophecy as we step into the fullness of our own being. Let it ripple in every direction from our gathering in this moment, touching all creation. I invite you today to walk in the blessing of this utterance, to let yourself rest into your own prophetic nature, not as a status, not as something you need to muster up, but relax into it. Let yourself today rest in this gift of who and what you are. Wonderful to be with you, my friends. Have a fantastic day.